I am asking hard questions about a friendship that has repeatedly resurfaced in public records and reporting. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were publicly associated in social circles for years, reporting and timelines document shared events such as Palm Beach gatherings, private dinners, and travel that drew public attention and later scrutiny. Recent releases of documents and emails have renewed interests in what those ties actually meant and what they reveal about elite networks. Epstein and Trump moved in overlapping social circles in the 1990s and 2000s. Photographs, guest lists, and contemporaneous accounts placed them at the same events, while later documents, releases, and emails have added new context that researchers and journalists are still praising. How would you evaluate the strengths of photographic and guest list evidence linking Trump and Epstein? And what standards would you apply before drawing conclusions? If you were reconstructing a timeline of sharing events, Mar-a-Lago gatherings, private dinners, fights, which entries would you treat as most probative and why? When you consider emails and documents that have surfaced, how would you weight their credibility against decades-old public statements? What responsibility would you assign to hosts and mutual acquaintances you see in the records? And how would you justify that assignment? If you were mapping influence within that social circle, which recreating events would you mark as nodes of power and why? If you were advising journalists, which three document types, emails, feedbacks, guest lists would you prioritize and how would you verify them? How would you judge the ethics of using victims' records in partisan debates? And what safeguards would you insist on if you were overseeing coverage? What evidence would you require before you concluded that attendance at a party implied complicity rather than mere acquaintance? If you were a historian writing about elite networks, how would you situate this relationship with broader patterns of wealth and influence? How would you assess the role of reputation management in shaping public narratives you've seen reported? If you were asking viewers to form an opinion, which three pieces of documented context would you insist they consider first? I am not here to tell you what you think. I am here to show you what to ask.